The TL this week has been crazy.
Marriage also is sex work because a lot of...
Okay. Okay. But I don't think a degree matters in terms of intelligence, though. I don't think so. I don't think you have to be educated to be smart. What does education mean? Are you reading a book? Is that what you mean? Like, do you read a book? Are you street smart? Do you listen to people? Like, what does that look like? I think we sometimes forget on the internet that what you're seeing is never the full picture. Sometimes it's literally maybe 1/3 of the picture. That's me doing some math. Is 1/3 a lot or small? Let me be messy real quick. Shout out to Cardi for cheating. Period. I support women's rights and wrongs. Give me an O. Give me a D. Give me a D. Give me an H. Give me an O. Give me a T. Give me an I. Give me a P. Give me an A. How do you spell topics? Oh, I didn't spell that right, did I? Odd topics. Topics. It was an H in there. Welcome to Am I Too Loud, the podcast. Hi guys, welcome back to... Hey guys, welcome back to Am I Too Loud with Sophie, aka the Odditty. Today's episode is all about some of the oddest topics that I see on my For You page, on my TL, my timeline, and everything in between. And let me tell you, based on the fact that I couldn't even spell topics at the beginning of this episode, we are in for a fun ride. I am going to be joined by my fun producer / friend / creative director, the most random creative I know, Donald. Say hi, Donald.
Hello.
If you're listening to this on Spotify or audio, you didn't see my friend Sonia, who's also behind the camera, who immediately ducked because she did not realize she might potentially be on camera. And the fear in her eyes is absolutely insane. But these are becoming some of my favorite episodes to film. And I don't know if y'all can tell, I'm getting so much more comfortable on like the hot seat. Like once I'm in the director's chair, I'm like yappa. I feel like this podcast is becoming like my thing. Like Sophie just keeps yapping. I love it. We're gonna get started. I have my trusty iPad here. Donald, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, first of all, you always just want to be on camera so bad.
That's not true.
That's so true. Because why are you doing gang signs on camera?
I'm telling you, you guys can't even see me right now. So that's not true.
All right, let's get started. I'm seeing intro. Why do we care? What do we care about? What?
Why do we care?
What do we care?
Like,
what are we caring about?
So this episode, there's a whole lot going on in the industry.
Oh my God. The timeline this week has been crazy. And I want to talk about some things, but I don't know what Donald has planned for us. So we're going to just get started. What's the first topic?
I just want to talk about like, why do we care? Why does
About
the internet
what?
care? Why does the internet exist?
To care. People are nosy.
We're part of the problem.
We are part of the problem.
And we have to
I think
acknowledge
so.
that.
Yes, that's true.
I want to show you this video. Because
Okay.
like, I feel like this is the best way to start
Okay.
this episode.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Very controversial to say.
Oh,
Marriage
pause.
also is sex work because a lot of...
Okay.
Anytime I see the slum flower in a video, I immediately scroll. Now, I love the slum flower. That's my girl. Actually, I don't know her. We've been mutuals for a minute on Twitter, but I don't know if we follow each other anymore. So honestly, let me take that back. Hold on. What I'm trying to say is, I know she says some of the most outlandish, craziest things that, hear me out, most of us believe. But I think the way she states it makes you seem like you have to immediately put your guard up. That's where I'm going to come from first before watching the full video. Because we know the Slumflower. We've seen the stuff she's tweeted and recorded and posted. She is very like bold and out there, which is very loud, which is what we stand for here. So we're not going to shame anyone for their thoughts. We're just going to hear it out. Okay, Donald.
I saw the preface. The video is actually not about what she said. It's about somebody's response to what she said.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
Podcast license, please. Podcast license, please. Please.
Shall we begin?
First of all, I love his content. If you're not watching on video, this guy does like reaction stuff. His FYP is, I think, worse than my own because the stuff he ends up reacting to is just insane. Okay. She says marriage is sex work. Okay. 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 She's not wrong.
Oh, shit.
She's not, okay, hear me out. Let me play devil's advocate here, okay? marriage, I don't necessarily think a healthy marriage is sex work. I don't think so. However, are we saying that we don't think there are people in marriage who do tend to have the similar attributes of sex workers? Do we not think that?
Can you explain more?
Let me explain. So I know in that video she basically said that, you know, you're having sex with the husband, you're cooking, you're cleaning, or you're getting paid for it in some aspect. But unfortunately, with marriage, you don't tend to get paid for it because you're just like having sex with the man. Sometimes you don't love the man. Sometimes you're just forced into it to have kids and then whatever. So she even maybe alluded to the fact that sex workers have more freedom than wives in marriage. And I think she might be coming from a perspective of a very unhealthy relationship. Does that make sense? I don't want to speak for her and maybe thinking that she might not have seen healthy marriages where marriage is a partnership. Instead, she's seeing marriage from like, even thinking about like an African perspective, right? Like when you go on, you know, the husband goes to do the bride price and then, you know, they buy the woman and she's in the house. Sometimes it's like arranged, so you don't really love the husband, so you grow to love the husband. So most of all you're doing, the woman will literally tell you that, oh, you're there to have sex with the husband, have your children, raise your kids for the man, and then go. If you're thinking from that aspect,
So you're talking about it from the perspective of the woman.
yes.
So not marriage as a whole, not the guy and the...
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not a part. I don't think she's thinking about it from a partnership perspective.
Okay.
Right? Because I think a healthy marriage is partnership.
Right.
That's what marriage is at the end of the day. It's a man and a woman, or a wife, a person and a person.
Two people.
Two people.
Or more.
Or more. Coming to a binding agreement. Yeah. To choose each other for the rest of their lives and come in partnership, which means you're having houses together, kids, you're building a lineage, that family tree, all that.
If that's what you want.
If that's what you want, that is what marriage, I think, should be. And it should at the core be partnership. Now, I think from a slum power's perspective, I don't think she sees healthy marriages enough to where she immediately thinks that.
Okay.
Right? Because I think a healthy marriage is hard to come by in this day and age. Right? And then in certain communities too, women aren't equal partners in marriage, right? Like for a lot of our communities, women aren't the equal partner, the men are. So if she's coming from like, she just said it so outlandish, but I don't see how she is that far off.
Okay.
Okay.
So podcast license.
I think that because I have a podcast too, I think everyone can have a podcast. Everybody has a voice. Everybody has opinions. Opinions like that matter. You know, like I don't think we need to be in each other's what is it? What's the thing they call the little thing that like you hear yourself and only yourself? What is that thing? English is not my first language.
Echo chamber.
Echo chamber. Thank you. I think we don't
Master's
need to
degree.
exist in each other's echo chambers.
Mhm.
I think for the most part, it's fun to exist in spaces where you hear other discourse and you talk about it. My issue with stuff like that is when people hear that, they immediately think, absolutely not, that's outlandish, shut it down. But if you think deeper into what she's saying, you can break that down into different arguments. Am I just being too much of a devil's advocate here?
Honestly, we don't have a license. So, but it brings me back to, why do we care?
About what she's saying, about like people's opinions and thoughts.
Just everything. We're going somewhere. We're going
Okay.
somewhere with this.
Okay. Because I think that's social media though. Like I think the idea that with social media, if you bring your opinions out to the world, you're asking people and inviting people to talk about it. You know, social media changed after the pandemic. It became even more impactful for the society, right? Because when we first started doing social media, it was more like a highlight reel. It was a space where you just share things for your family and friends and close-knit. The pandemic hit and folks' social battery, social change, like it just switched. Now people find social interactions more online, and that's why we have more of a discourse. That's why we have more podcasts. That's why we have people who are trying to have their voices heard from like their living room or from their rooms where they never leave their phones.
Right.
Yeah.
But we also have a society where some people have degrees and some people don't.
That's true. But I don't think a degree matters in terms of intelligence though. I don't think so. I don't think you have to be educated to be smart. I don't think so. I really don't. I do not think you have to be educated to be smart.
No, that's not true.
What do you mean?
That's not true.
How?
No. If you can be educated and not smart. But you
You-
have to be educated.
No, I know some really educated people who have degrees.
I'm not talking about
who are not
formal.
smart.
Yes,
Oh
obviously.
wait, okay.
Like,
Right.
you're still talking common sense.
Yeah,
I'm
right?
just saying-
'Cause are we talking about educated in terms of
No, not formal education. Just like, because some people are not educated.
no, like, but yeah, what does education mean? Because if you're saying formal, what does education mean? Are you reading a book? Is that what you mean? Like, do you read a book? Are you street smart? Do you listen to people? Like, what does that look like? Also, I need a tissue. My eyes are falling off with water. I'm back. I do. I need to yell out loud. Sorry, y'all. I had to take a break. My lashes were falling off. Moving on.
Okay.
So yeah, we're talking about being educated and being smart. What does education mean?
The reason why I'm saying why do we care is because the internet has a lot of opinions. And I feel
Yes.
like a lot of the topics that
Mhm.
we're going to be talking about today, there's a lot of very like bad takes. And it makes me scared
Well, you deem it a bad take. Why?
because it is a bad take.
No, it's not. Who decides what's bad and what's good on the internet?
Okay. Hold that thought. Just hold that thought.
Okay.
Let's talk about friendships.
Okay.
Right?
Friendships?
Yes.
Okay.
Very
All right.
weird
Let's talk
pivot.
about friendships, you guys. What is the odd topic about friendship that we're about to discuss?
How do you measure friendships?
How do I measure friendships? That's a huge question. That's a very broad question. How do I measure friendships? Why? Is there a video I'm supposed to be watching?
I would answer first.
So annoying.
Quality or length?
Oh, that is a good question. How do you measure friendships? Quality or length? Quality. I say quality. I think you could know someone for a really, really long time, but if you don't take the time to actually get to know them as they evolve, then that friendship might not be the best type of friendship. Does that make sense? There are people who have known me since high school who are not good friends to me. But there are people who have also known me since high school who have taken the time to learn me every step of the way. And there are people who just met me last month who have become the best of friends with me because they've taken the time as well to invest in a good friendship. So I definitely would say quality over length any day.
Okay.
What are we watching? I knew there was a video coming, you guys.
No, this is because I wanted to make sure that this section of the video is not just all negative vibes.
Okay.
Right? So this is positive. This is
Okay,
a positive
let's see.
video.
The length of a friendship does not dictate the quality of that friendship or relationship. It doesn't matter how long you've known someone. The big question will always be, do they add value to your life and do you add value to theirs? I knew someone once. We actually met at work. We became fast friends and we were actually friends for a very long time. One day, I got some really great news, something that would elevate me in my work, and I shared it with this person. Now listen, I always pay attention to energy when I'm talking to someone or connecting with someone. And if
Also, her
your
makeup is
energy
fire.
is giving off, I'll know. When I tell you the cloud that came over this person's face when I shared that news. I was actually stunned, but not too stunned to speak. And I looked at this person. I said, what was that? What was that look? This person got so flustered. They didn't know that I'd caught it. They started to apologize profusely. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Now, whether they meant it or not, it did not sit well with me, and I did not stick around long enough to find out. I moved to the US with my family when I was 13. Integrating and adjusting was not an easy task. On top of that, what I found was that most people had their friend groups from a very early age.
I feel like it should be a whole episode on its own. And we will have a friendship episode on its own. Because I have learned a lot. I was talking to someone yesterday and I said, that's so interesting. I have been through so much with friendships and friends because I had such a misguided idea of what friendship should be. What I mean by that is I grew up watching, did we all watch like the Hannah Montana trio duo thing, right? Where like you would constantly watch where it's like the person and the sidekick or the two friends or the three best friends. And I grew up thinking that's what I wanted, right? I wanted that childhood friend who would stay with me and stick with me forever and ever and ever. And I would find myself in positions where I was with people who did not have my best interests at heart. And that happened for a really, really long time until I decided to figure out what I actually wanted out of friends. So I say all that to say, quality, she's right. Like I'm huge now about energy. I'm huge about respecting boundaries. I'm huge about also saying who's a friend, like who's an acquaintance, who's a colleague, who's a friend, who's a close friend, who's a best friend, who's a, party friend. I got brunch friends now. I have photo shoot friends. I have work friends. Like I'm learning that people can also serve as friends in different capacities for you, and that's okay. And that's why I'm like, I understand the whole quality versus length thing. length throw out the window, because someone can know you for 20, 30 plus years and actually never know you, or just even be around you just to want to leech off of you. And I say that with my chest. If you're watching this, you know who you are with my chest. Okay, next one.
So there's a comment here that I think is interesting.
I'm currently in a position where I don't feel like I have friends. This video made me realize that the one friend I have is still in my life because I've known them since forever. However, I don't feel like we align anymore. It's funny because I was thinking about our friendship today and this video popped up. I guess it was meant to be a sign. I just don't know how to start friendships, I guess. I don't know where to even look or what to say. Okay, let us do Friendship 101, how to make friends in 2024. First things first. What kind of friends are you looking for? Make a list, okay? I did this when I moved to New York recently. I was like, okay, what are my priorities? I really wanted a solid friend group. I threw that out of the window because I realized I didn't need to add extra people into my life. Sidebar. But for you who's listening right now, do a few things. Break down what kind of friends you want. What kind of friends are you looking for? What are your hobbies to even start? Like, where are places that you can go where you can meet like-minded people? We've heard about the whole run club things where you start meeting people because you like running. Folks who like going to bars, lounges, clubs, paint and sip, walking groups, so many different avenues, going to the park, actually going to events around the city or places where you live so you can meet different people, joining LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups. I'm telling you, so many people feel exactly like you do and they want friends too. I think people tend to stay in their silos and don't want to reach back out because I know it can be hard, it can be exhausting, but you need social love. Like, I understand that so hard. I think do that, okay? Try reaching out, breaking outside of your comfort zone, going out to meet different types of people, and you start building that tribe slowly. You just need that one. I have like a solid group of, I think now they're up to like 7 solid good friends, like, and they're all in such different aspects of their life. And like, those are people that I know I've built a solid quality relationship with. And I think it's important to have those kind of people. Donald has a question, folks.
Am I one of the 7?
No, Donald. You're not. You're such an annoying. Okay, so another question. I'm paraphrasing here. Sometimes you meet phenomenal people and have the most phenomenal conversations in that moment. It's okay to leave those moments. That is so true. Like, genuinely, I feel like I used to be that person who I would experience something with someone. And this could also even be with romantic relationships. I would experience something with someone and I would choose to be like, let me romanticize this to be a whole thing. Or I'll meet someone who I'm like, me and that girl just gelled really well. We're going to be best friends for the rest of our lives. We never speak anymore. I used to think that was a slight on me or in that person or our relationship. However, it's just there's sometimes where you're just meant to meet someone, have a really, really good time with them, take that memory and move on from it. And like have the memory be a lesson, honestly, and you can grow from it. So I definitely align with what she's saying. Nunia21 says, we're friends until they give me a reason not to be. I'm not going to take time to evaluate friendships that are working. When they stop working, I'll know. I don't know how I feel about that. Because I feel like that feels very cut-offy. You know what I mean? I feel like that centers, I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, that centers this commenter as like the sun where everybody else is rotating around. I think friendships are also like partnerships, right? Where you're also giving and taking. Like that's where good quality friendships come from. You should be able to also speak to your friends. If a friendship isn't working, whose fault is it, right? Can we talk things through? Because I also don't like that sometimes we tend to give up on our friends, but give romantic relationships a lot more leeway than we do friendships. And this is across the board. Like, especially with women, like we tend to be like, oh, that girl, like, she pissed me off, she did this, she's gone. Versus that man who's done you dirty 50 million times, you're still up his ass. Still giving him another chance, giving him 50 chances, when that girl might have done something that if you talked it out, you could have like worked through it. So that's also something to think about. An odd nugget, if you will. I love that we're keeping that, an odd nugget.
That's good.
All right.
All right, cool.
Moving on. You guys,
Right.
I love Odd Topics days. They're so fun.
So this next one, I think you have to intro it.
I want to talk about this so bad, you guys. I'm telling you, I was on Instagram and I opened, I think it was they're even blocked, so I don't know how I saw it, but somebody posted that DDG and Halle broke up, and my heart sunk because I have such an unpopular opinion about this duo, and I feel like Donald also has a very strong opinion about this. And mind you, let me just get into it. First of all, I'm gonna start my argument with this. When I heard that, I was so frustrated, really, honestly, because I just knew I would see comments going, now he could leave her alone. Halle has been abandoned. She's now a baby mama. They can't believe she let that happen to her. DDG is the worst person. Halle has no decisions. Why are we taking the autonomy out of that woman? Like, why are we thinking she's this egg that need, like, I don't, like, I hate how, okay, sorry, I don't know what else to read.
Back to the thing I said at the start.
Why do we care so much? It is so, like, I'm telling you, when I was reading those comments, I went on Reddit, and I never go on Reddit, and I saw think pieces about two people's relationships that we do not know. We do not know. We do, like, I don't think you guys understand. I don't think you're listening to me. We don't know these people.
Because it's like, it's so, because you see so many people on the internet, and you're just like, why do people, like, there's so many important issues. There's a hurricane, there's war.
So
why do you care?
Oh my God, this should be the title of this episode. Why do we care so much? The DDG and Halle breakup, Kamala and Odditty. Yeah, this
next video I'm about to play, it's like a quick segue away from DDG back, but it's important.
Okay, let's play this video, you guys.
Okay.
Oh, that was a good video. Oh my God, you guys, I get so excited with Hot Topics.
Okay.
Okay.
Cardi B told Offset she slept with his brother before he passed away. But Offset just responded. He said Takeoff already told him, but then Takeoff's brother responded and said he didn't tell him. Sorry, Offset.
Fine. Why is this happening?
Because Cardi and Offset broke up, so she told everyone she cheated on him.
And?
She then tweeted that he slept with all of her friends, and that's the reason why she did it!
Okay, but why does anybody care?
Because one of the times Offset cheated was with Jay.
Like 6ix9ine's ex-girlfriend?
Yeah! I think he tried to hurt 6ix9ine, but he ended up only hurting himself.
What is even happening right now?
Oh, Offset just threatened to take everything away from Cardi B. Cardi B just said he's not a
Okay,
real man.
I'm saying, but why is this new?
Because they're married and they have 3 kids. But now that they're broken up, they're spilling all of the tea.
Okay, they're going through a breakup, they're arguing, and it got to the internet because they were in a I'm trying to hurt you contest like it's high school. What's the news about this?
I'm just genuinely happy Cardi B finally cheated on Offset.
Why does that make you happy?
Because I'm more happy because Offset already slept with her friends, meaning he won.
But why does that make you happy?
Because Cardi B is a 304 and she deserved it. Cardi B won because she slept with his brother who's not alive anymore.
Why do either of you care this much about this?
No, Offset actually won because he slept with all of her friends. Yeah, right, but Cardi B has 175 million followers. Offset has 25 million for a guy, which is like 250 million. Cardi B was born 1976
Offset was born
with
January
blue eyes,
8th,
October 2nd at St. Jude's Hospital.
Came out with the
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Okay, I just really think we care because of social media. That's the whole point, right? It's a discourse. Social media is discourse. Like the idea of, like right now, me having a podcast is because I want to talk about random news online. And as a celebrity, right, your life becomes news. Like think about the Chappelle Roan. What is her? Chappelle Roan, I think is their name. She talked about like her mental health and how much she struggles with mental health people in her business. And I remember seeing that and going, yeah, that's so right. Like, why do we care? Like, why do we care? When I also thought, well, you're a celebrity, you're inviting it. And I remember thinking, why do I think because she's a celebrity, she's inviting it? And I think that's the conversation that needs to happen because the internet is going to always have discourse. That's the whole point, right? You want people's opinions. That's why you post your photo because you want them to say that you like it. You want a video because you want interactions and engagement. That's the point. So I think why do we care is like a pretty high up look into like what the internet is supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be a discourse.
Right.
So like, that's why I think people care. Now, I think they care too much. And I think they're doing too much a lot with these think pieces, right? Because we still forget with the internet that you don't actually know these people. Like you don't actually know Cardi B unless you have an intimate relationship with Cardi B as a friend in any capacity. If all you know about Cardi is what she is or presents online, you do not know Cardi B. You do not know DDG. You do not know Halle. We do not know these people. You do not, if you listen to this, you don't even know Sophie. You don't even know the Odditty, right? Because the internet is a highlight reel. That is the point of social media. It is a highlight reel. It is what people choose to show you and engage with. People are so nuanced. It's such a nuanced space to be in that I think we sometimes forget on the internet that what you're seeing is never the full picture. Sometimes it's literally maybe 1/3 of the picture. That's me doing some math. Is 1/3 a lot or small? not sure. You know, it's small.
It's one of thirds.
One of thirds. Okay.
So you see in that video,
Yeah.
the guy was like, "Oh, Cardi B is married and she has to, and they have 3
Also,
kids."
period to Cardi B. Let me be messy real quick. Shout out to Cardi for cheating. Period. I support women's rights and wrongs. That's right. Yes, Cardi. You better give. Sorry.
So you like that Cardi?
I love it. She
slept
was
with
pregnant.
Offset,
Period.
not Offset. Take off.
Allegedly. Let's go back to DDG and Halle.
Because like
I have a thing.
there's a common denominator here.
Which is what?
The child.
The child. That's not a common denominator. I'm so confused.
It is. No,
why
it
is it
is.
common denominator?
Because that's why everybody cares.
No, that's not true.
I believe.
No, from the beginning, before she had a kid with him, you guys, this is how I'm telling you. Before she had a kid with him, already when they even talked about them dating, the internet sees Halle as an angel. This sweet angel, little mermaid, so adorable, so cute. She can be her. She's our egg. She deserves I've seen people like try to get her to be with like a Damson Idris, like a cookie cutter black guy. That's what I want to describe what people want for Halle, a cookie cutter black guy. Versus when they saw her with DDG, they're like, yo, you could do better, right? You could do better. He's crazy, he's loud, he's this. There've been words I don't want to repeat on the internet that they've used to describe DDG as a person.
I have a video.
So, okay, let's watch this video.
When it comes to this whole DDG and Halle Bailey situation, it's not that the internet broke them up. Sometimes the internet be right. As much as people want to say people on the internet be yapping and talking, sometimes the internet be right. And believe it or not, we like Halle. We really like Halle. She's our Disney princess. She's the first black mermaid. You know what I'm saying? Like, we love her. We love the path that she's on. We love her. Like, you know what I'm saying? We love her trajectory and we know that where she can go. So watching her get with someone like DDG, nothing wrong with him per se. However, his track record of the type of women that he normally dates, then to get with someone like Halle, who we're not known in the industry for dating and things of that nature. So
let me explain this to folks who are listening, right? When people say that, oh, I don't want to. Okay, this is not Sophie speaking as Sophie. This is Sophie speaking as what I think she's trying to say. And if she's not trying to say this, then maybe I'm wrong. DDG's ghetto. He dates women who are ghetto, or the idea of what you're not supposed to be. Like the presentation of being black, right? We saw that happen a lot with, I think Aneka, she talked about being presentable for the white gaze, right? The idea that Halle's our sweet mermaid, our beautiful black princess, versus all the crazy women that DDG has dated. Compared to her, she's palatable. She deserves a cookie cutter black guy versus a DDG who's dated women who aren't like Halle. Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? And why should we fucking care? And why are we talking about this woman like she does not have anatomy, not anatomy, what is the word? What is the word? Or not autonomy. There we go.
And how is she different?
How is she
from
different?
Ruby Rose?
How is she different? Oh, don't even try. You want people to fight you, Donald.
No.
How is Halle different
How is
from
she
Ruby
different
Rose?
from Ruby
Exactly.
Rose?
So you see,
No,
even you said that.
because she's closer to her sister. How is her sister different from Ruby Rose? How are they different?
How are they different? I want people who are listening right now to tell me how Ruby Rose and Halle are different. Is it Halle is a Disney princess and Ruby Rose is not?
Right. Because technically, they both date rappers.
Okay.
They both appear sexy online.
Wait, are we talking about Chloe Bailey now or Halle?
3 of them together. Like, the only difference
Wait, your
is...
thoughts.
The only difference is Ruby Rose has an OnlyFans and Halle doesn't. But they both
But also, you know what's funny about the Halle situation? I really think it's interesting how we tend to want to put our thoughts and who she is out there for her. Like, we're telling her, because you're on Disney, you have to be a certain way. We saw that happen with Raven Simone, right? You have to be a certain type of black girl to exist and be successful. And I pushed back on that because that girl is simply just living her life. Like, why are we looking at her negatively because she has a baby with someone who she clearly loved and who clearly loved her? We've seen the clips of them. If you watched his channel or her channel or interacted, if you saw their interactions, you knew this girl loved that man and that man worshipped her. Like, they literally loved each other. And then when I see people have these think pieces about how they feel like she's making the wrong decision, we are taking the autonomy away from her, because who the fuck are you to tell this woman how she should behave or move? She protected the internet from seeing her child because she knew these think pieces are going to happen. Imagine going through a breakup, allegedly, because DDG be playing too much. Imagine going through a breakup like that, knowing fully well the internet is going to say something different. Mind you, she never has appeared unhappy. Never, a child is never appeared unhappy. Like, maybe
He's always with a child.
He's like, this has never been an issue of he's not been present. We have seen rappers and terrible people never hang out with their kids. I mean, Cardi and Offset are keen about it.
This is my problem. Like, he's one of the good ones. Like, he brought his entire family from Pontiac.
Yo, Donald is a huge DDG fan.
No, let's think about it. Like, his brother, his mom, everyone, like, he changed their life.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of the good ones. He has inspired. Like, he's the reason. Kai Cenat.
You know what's funny?
He's the reason why we have Kai Cenat.
What's crazy is, like, what is the difference between DDG and Kai? What's the difference between DDG and Kai? Who DDG dates? Because apparently his dating history is a lot more out there.
Right.
When I saw that breakup and that announcement, and then I saw people like creating these like sensational stuff about like what he allegedly posted on close friends and stuff like that, I'm like, yo, if you know DDG, you know he's always messing around. 1, 2. She got with that man because she knows he messes around. She's seen his content. She is a grown woman who can make her own decisions. End the story. We shouldn't give a shit.
That Little Mermaid thing, let's just put it to the side. No, because like, I get the Little Mermaid gaze, but like, she was somebody before the Little Mermaid.
Yes. She's
right?
It's a thing where I think with Halle and Chloe and how people interact with them, it's always been so frustrating for me to see, because I see 2 young women who just really want to be themselves. And society keeps trying to get them to be something they're not. I give an example of the fact that because they were blessed by Beyonce, there was a pretty direct route they wanted both of them to take. It was pretty like the Normani route, right? Where like, you're going to be clean, cookie cutter black girl. You're going to go Coco Jones route, like giving you that like upper echelon luxury black girl energy, who's going to be a pop star, who's going to be put together, who's not going to date rappers or this or not do too much. And then Chloe became her own person. And I don't even think she was doing too much, because Chloe Bailey existing in the same era as Meg Thee Stallion, why was she met with so much flack compared to Meg? Right? Because when that was happening, she was dressing however she wanted to dress. They dragged her down. Like, she's embarrassing. She's doing too much. I'm like, Meg Thee Stallion dresses exactly the same. I'm twerking online. Like, why are we even giving a flying fuck about how this girl is choosing to dress? Because she's just trying to be herself. Because again, the idea of like, we want you to be this kind of cookie cutter black girl because someone like Beyonce has blessed you. This is the route you need to take, when they're simply just being themselves. So Halle dating someone like DDG is a pushback against what people want to see from them. And to be 2 girls who are growing up trying to see all this and navigate that, I think it's unfortunate. I think we should let them live their lives. Because are we in their lives? No. Okay.
When I was finished this video, then I have a theory.
Okay.
Innocence, like, to her.
Who has more innocence?
His exes
Halle?
had issues with him. So I'm not saying, I don't know why their relationship ended.
Pause.
But
if anyone has seen Halle on live or on fucking videos, Halle will cuss you out.
She's actually the meaner sister.
Halle, I'm telling you, Halle could fight a bitch. Okay, I'm telling you, it makes no sense to me. And I love her down. Like, I love the sisters so much. And it just pisses me off because I know they just want to live their lives. And I think the entirety of Black women in America just really wants them to just, well, maybe that's a generalization. But a group of people certainly just want to impose this idea of that they need to be cookie cutter. And they're not. I don't think they're ever going to be. And I think that's okay. We need diversity. Okay, we need diversity of the Black experience. I think we need more crazy Black women.
There is diversity. We need acknowledgement.
Period. We need acknowledgement of the diversity of Black womanhood. I want to see what's the crazy one? The one who's like a MAGA one? What's her name? We need a Candace Owens. We need a Lala Milan. We need a Halle Bailey.
I want you to explain the differences because you're naming names. I'm like, okay.
We need a Coco Jones. We need a Beyonce. We need a Fanita. Okay, we need a Mecca. We need a Simi Moonlight. We need a Sophie, aka the Oddity. We need a Sonia Barbie. We need a diversity of Black womanhood because we're not the same. We're not the same. We're not linear thinkers. This needs to exist. Like Chloe Bailey behaving exactly how she wants to behave should be accepted regardless. Why do we need think pieces? Halle Bailey is not a cookie cutter, innocent woman. She doesn't want to be. And even if she is, why is that a problem if she's not? Okay. What?
We need Frankie, the lady talking.
Is that Frankie? Who's
Yeah.
Frankie?
She's,
The lady? She's
yeah.
the creator?
We don't need her.
We need a Frankie too.
We need Frankie.
I want diversity because I remember like when we talk about my problem with discourse around Black women especially, it always seems like it's very limiting in the conversation. It's very controlling. You should appear this way. You should appear that way. Like you're too loud. You're too much. You're too sexy. You let this man get away. Why? They have autonomy. These women have autonomy. They have autonomy over their bodies, over their minds. They know what they're doing. Allow us to celebrate our choices. We might not agree with it. We might not even like it. We need a Jackie Aina. Because Jackie always even puts boundaries in place. We need I could go on and on and on. The diversity within the Black womanhood thing, I feel so strongly about it because I really think we do need to acknowledge the fact that Black women are not the same, and that's okay. Chloe Bailey is never going to be a Coco Jones, and there's nothing wrong with that. Continue on, Donald.
Okay. So, like I said, I have a theory.
Am I going to get canceled for this, y'all?
No, you won't.
I can't
Hope
imagine
not.
this clip going. Oh my
So-
God.
Knowing I've been watching DDG since like 2017.
Yeah, you have nothing better to do in
OG.
your life. Yeah.
Absolutely not,
Yeah.
right? Reading this post,
Mhm.
I have a theory.
Okay. Oh,
From-
his like actual story where he said,
Yes.
"Dear friends and supporters, Halle and I have decided to go our separate ways. It was not easy. Okay, despite the change in our relationship, our love remains deep. We're truly best friends. Yeah.
I think this announcement, I don't think they've broken up.
Okay.
I think there's so much happening on the internet.
Yeah.
And people are just like in their business.
And they want to just not have them in their
Because like
business.
they have a child.
Yeah.
They have their careers.
Yeah.
Like they have their personal teams.
Yeah.
Everything. But there's so much discourse. And like the way people are bashing on him,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want to be in their relationship. I wouldn't be in the same room. I feel like this message is for everyone to just kind of like leave them alone.
Yeah.
That's my theory. I don't think they've broken up. I think
it
they're
should've-
still together.
I think it shouldn't even matter.
No, but yes. But knowing DDG,
Knowing, yeah.
I think that because she hasn't said anything.
She hasn't. Well, she never does though. Which is my favorite part about her. She never does. If you realize, like, Halle don't be speaking. Like she just minds her own.
She's
and
like
I think it's
Beyonce.
beautiful. Okay, well,
It's true though.
it's true. I think she always minds her own, and I think that's one of my favorite things about her. And I accept it. Like she doesn't need to say too much. Let them talk. Let
Right.
people talk. Let them say whatever they want to say. It's okay. Like again, the discourse around Black women just needs to change. Our opinions about relationships need to change. This idea that like she's now less than because she's a baby mama and so her career is over is disgusting. That girl has worked so hard to get to where she is. She is deserving of having a child. She's deserving of having someone, a partner who loves her the way that man loves her. And even if he doesn't, we don't know because we're knowing their marriage or their relationship or their partnership. We don't know. So why do you care so much? Think about it. Sorry. You know when you say something you don't want to get in trouble, so you laugh after, like,
No.
oopsie daisy. Are you gonna make me read comments about this?
Yes.
You know, my blood pressure is already so
It's
high.
just because like this
Okay.
story could be 2 hours.
Oh, let me talk about this. Comment number 1. From the beginning, I knew it wouldn't last, and it's no surprise. DDG has to control the narrative and make an announcement himself. He got what he wanted. More name recognition of the internet world and a baby. He's a grown boy. Social media and celebrity culture is eating society. A picture no longer than 1,000 words. Who are you? Who are you? I swear, y'all, when I read comments on the internet, I'm like, how? You know what? Shit. God damn it. I'm just, God damn it. This pinches my blood. I think it's interesting that people feel so strongly about other people that they take the time to type something like this, even without knowing who this person is. And I also think people tend to forget that I might post a certain type of content but that might not reflect who I am as a person. Does that make sense? So people who tend to post outlandish content, clickbaity content, they might be some of the best people in the world and just do it for the sensationalism of it, because that in itself is also art. I'm not saying DDG is an artist or anything like that. I'm just saying we tend to forget that they're humans who are performing something in the world. So when I hear the internet, someone called him a D-list celebrity, and I was like, I get exhausted just thinking
Someone
about
said
it.
his name is damn, goddamn. Okay.
You know, one thing I realized, so we just played a Halle song when she was singing a song about after her, he would never fall in love again. So I have a bunch of artist friends. And one thing I realized is sometimes artists don't sing about their real lives. Just want to throw that out there. I don't think we understand that. The concept that musicians sometimes might have written songs 4 years ago because of something a friend might have gone through, and then they sing it, and then people attribute that to what's going on in their present life. Sometimes that's not how life works. And sometimes they simply are just singing to sing. Throwing just as devil's advocate here. Even if she was saying that about him, I do be saying that about my exes too, though. I'm like, I just love that my exes will look back and be sitting on the couch with their families, and they have to tell their kids, look, I used to date that person. And they have to look at their, partner's face and be like, damn, I know I disappointed you. I could have been with better. So I get it.
Nothing pissed me off the most about this Joe Budden guy.
Oh, I've never really listened to a Joe Budden podcast.
I
but
want you
it's
to
really
hear
good.
what he said
Okay.
about DDG.
Okay. God.
Is DDG. and why am I supposed to care about his thoughts on anything? I'm very happy that they have broken up, so I don't get to keep seeing this name attached to this girl's name when I don't know him for nothing as a standalone. And for me, it's important to know people based off their own name and merit and what they have done. Every time I see his name, it's attached to hers, and it's typically in some type of clout chaser fashion. So that makes me look at him a different way, and hopefully I get to look at him a lot less now that they've broken.
Well, she's extremely she's high profile.
Very high profile and very talented.
And you saying her head game is trash, gonna go get their own account.
Yeah, we figured it out.
They're gonna go find out on their own, number one. And number two, if it was that trash, why you snatched that cherry so fast, my boy? I mean, if her head was as bad as you say, that cherry didn't levitate long. Before you got in action, DDG.
That's
I don't even know what that stands for.
What does DDG stand for? Daryl Dwayne Granberry.
Yo, your name Granberry? You know what my thing is with these that's on the rise and they want to go get with the chick with some notoriety that's also on the rise.
Salute, by the way.
Whenever that relationship fails, I never see them bounce back with something that's going to get Shorty upset. I normally never hear from them again in the dating realm. I don't think I'm going to ever hear about DDG and his next chick.
I'm on.
Well, his chick before her, you know who she is.
I don't.
Who?
Ruby. I'll talk your DDG.
Who was the chick before her? I'm afraid that we view that differently.
And there was a whole lot going on with her where she was doing clout chasing to their relationship.
Well, Ruby is a hustler and a business owner. Who was the young lady before her?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's what troubles me. That's what troubles me. Good luck, DDG.
That's such an uncomfortable thing to watch. First of all, it's unfortunate. Okay. Oh, I have so many things to say.
Go.
So many things to say. First, it made me so uncomfortable to hear him talk about another woman in that way. Like so the part about the cherry and the popping and whatever. And secondly, I don't know, especially in the world of AI, and this is definitely me playing devil's advocate here, whether or not the story, close friend story, was true or not, right? Like the idea that he would speak like that about the mother of his kid, if it is true, that's unfortunate, right? This is not, that's just unfortunate. But I don't think it's true. If it is, again, that's unfortunate. I hate that, first of all, they're putting this in the discourse in that way. And second, I just hate this idea that she's somehow less than because of him and he's somehow less than because of her. Like that dynamic that we keep perpetuating about the two of them is so unfortunate, especially because also I'm an internet person, right? Like I grew my following through the internet, and there are folks who like our internet people like DDG is, and then we see like celebrities like Halle as like different. But the world is getting to a point where those two worlds are beginning to meet. We see our biggest celebrities all going online. Like Ronaldinho just opened a freaking YouTube account to start posting YouTube videos. Like people are creating shows on YouTube. You even have
Cristiano
them
Ronaldo?
Yes.
You said
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay.
Just open a YouTube account. So I think it's interesting when I see folks like this have conversation about folks like DDG who maybe might not be the best representation of what internet stardom could look like, but DDG has a huge following. He has a huge name recognition. And even if you're in your echo chamber where you only hear him in regards to Halle, there are folks who have never heard of Halle because they know DDG. Like that to me, I think is where we oftentimes get lost. And I hate that discourse. I definitely do. Okay, what are your thoughts?
He's 44.
Oh, Joe?
Yes.
Okay.
Why are you speaking like that? Right? Why are you speaking about someone who is younger?
Yeah.
And that's why when I started this, I said, there's a child here.
Yeah.
So whether we like it or not.
You speak about a child's... And mind you, again, they're not... Like, could we just move on to the next topic? Because I feel like we're going to keep this dance for a long time. My biggest thing... we're closing out the Halle and DDG segment like this. Mind your fucking business. Halle's a grown woman. DDG is a grown man. There's a kid involved. They have never shown the internet unless you decide there's an issue in their relationship. They have always shown up as a united, strong front, always happy, always laughing. That child is always smiling. That child is walking at this point. They look like a happy family. They just look like the family you think they should look like. And I think that's your problem and not them. Next hot topic. Donald has a theory on my iPad that says, Donald's theory as a long-term subscriber of DDG, did they break up or is this their way of telling the internet to fuck off?
Well, no.
And then the one before that he really wants me to read is, in the meantime, Halle has not confirmed or denied the split, nor has she made any comments about the surrounding conversations. She was also not tagged in the breakup announcement post by her chaotic co-parent. Let's all hope our girl is finally free from the mess. The mess you think she's in, not the one she thinks she's in. So, all right, folks. Oh my God. The next topic we're going to be talking about, one of the oddest topics on the internet and the hottest, is what Jackie Aina posted recently. She did a video where she said, I lied. Put your clothes back on. We're going to be discussing how beauty brands are using outrage, marketing, exclusionary tactics to at Black women's expense to get us to market their awful shade ranges for free. So that, excuse me, I just belched. To then turn around and correct it and make themselves the hero. I have been saying this shit. What camera is working? This one? That one? I have been saying this shit for months, for years. Can the mic hear me? Shit. This is why I wanted a fucking podcast. I am not joking here. When I saw that and I said, somebody sees me. Somebody gets it. Let me tell you what happened. So I have been telling this to everyone who, every time I see a video about, Black makeup artists, about shade ranges, right? I immediately just hiss and look away. Because clearly that is not my shade. That is not my thing. I don't need to entertain it. I don't even need to give it any room. I say that because when the Euphoria Foundation, unless I'm mistaken here, the timeline of events that happened was Fenty Beauty had a huge LA launch around the same time Euphoria came out with their foundation. And when that happened, Fenty ended up taking the back seat. They had a big shade range. I forget what foundation it was that they launched, but it was huge. All the beauty girlies were there, all that stuff. And then 2 days later, or a day later, the Euphoria foundation with the black thing came out. And I'm telling you, I did not hear a peep about the new Fenty foundation. Not a word was said. Instead, the entire internet was in outrage because Euphoria was selling pitch black foundation. I wish we would take our outrage and put it into places that matter. I wish we would not entertain spaces that do not welcome us. I wish we would get to the point where we stop giving them our dollars, because even our outrage is still engagement and money in their pocket. They're getting those ad reads. They're getting those views. They are still getting money despite your outrage or in spite of it. In fact, word on the street is that the Euphoria CEO, whatever, is one of the racist ass folks. She does not give a fudge about Black women. no matter what. So even if there's some level of a redemption arc going on, it doesn't matter because from the beginning, it wasn't for you. Now, I say that as someone who's worked with Tarte Cosmetics. So this is even this is a very huge circle moment for me. And I want to talk about that real quick. So when I'm not a beauty girl. I'm not a beauty guru. Sophie's not a beauty guru at all. I be being my face, but I'm not a beauty girl. And I think a lot of my discourse around beauty comes from like Jackie Aina, Alyssa Ashley, Gloria, some of like my icons who are in the beauty space. And Tarte Cosmetics is some brand that's been there for a really long time, right? We've heard about Tarte. They had a ton of issues with, racist practices, discriminatory practices a long time ago. And I remember seeing that trend happen with like my friend Cynthia, Fanita. There was a lot of stories on TikTok. If you're not familiar with it, Google Tarte Cosmetic controversy. It will come up online. I remember when they first reached out to me, I was not a beauty girl. So I was very confused with why they reached out to me. But then with my background, they wanted me to have a conversation with them about what I knew about beauty, because y'all don't know this, but I do be consulting undercover for a lot of these brands about like diversity and inclusion within the content creator space. So your girl just be moving silently, okay, even though she's really loud. So they came up to me, they told me what they wanted to do. We had a whole meeting where we talked about it. The only reason I started working with Tarte was because they told me they were going to change, and they meant it. I'm gonna say that again. They told me they were going to change, and they meant it. Every single step of the way since I started working for them, I have seen nothing but change. I think their office is 60%, maybe even more Black or POC folks who work there. The folks on their PR list, they are definitely showing a trajectory of change. This is not a Tarte sponsorship. This is me just simply saying there are brands like that happen, and I see the evolution. And there are brands like Euphoria that would clearly only use your outrage to make money and then not actually change. Like Tear is another example of a brand that did not even think of you in the first place and is not doing the work to even think of you. They're not hiring Black creators. They're not hiring Black execs. They're not hiring Black people. They're simply just going back to the lab and getting the shade that they should have had in the first place, just so then they can come back to you and say, hey, here, we did it. And then you go and put it on your face and you're like, oh my God, wow, great job. And then the cycle continues, and then the cycle continues. And it just pisses me the fuck off. Sorry, now you can talk. Then my rant is over.
Comments.
Okay. I see a comment from Nale, says, I've been saying this since that brand released the Pitch Black Foundation. I don't know why everyone else isn't clocking it. Jackie responds, I will say this was the most absolute best example of this. That is so true. Literally, that was the best example of a brand genuinely knowing we're going to get outrage about this. And then they just continue doing it. Like, I'll never forget there's a controversy, and I'm only bringing up Tarte because that's one of the closest brands that I know I've seen the immediate change. Lancome is a good example of that too, because Lancome discontinued a foundation recently. It was like one of their darkest foundation shades. It was an uproar. A good TikTok mutual of mine talked about it, and they came back with a foundation and even did like different variations of that. That to me was like, oh my God, they saw an issue, immediately responded, they're fine. Huda Beauty is a good example of that too, where they had some issues with their shades, came online, explained what happened, showed you how they're going to fix it. These other brands do not give a flying fuck. They do not give a flying fuck. And I think when I'm saying this now, folks are probably thinking, well, Gloria is an example of a creator who is amplifying the voices of saying this. And I'm like, yes. But what's happening is at whose expense? Is it not at her mental health expense? I don't know, right? Because when Gloria posts a video and she's talking about these brands not giving a flying fudge about us, because these beauty brands do not. The think pieces, the conversations that happen around it is so exhausting, because the folks who are seeing that content just want to nail her to a coffin. They just want to basically belittle her and break her down rather than build her up. And I think that's where my frustration comes in, and I feel very exhausted for her and the work she's doing, which is important work, it's pivotal work, but it's still at whose expense? A Black woman. And I think that to me is unfortunate. Another comment, go ahead.
So, because this topic,
Yeah.
I'm so disconnected from it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I don't really understand makeup. But I saw this video, because I was trying to understand like the shade thing, right? Because I'm like, oh, like it's dark, you put it on your face. Like, isn't that what foundation is supposed to do?
No.
But then I saw this video,
Okay.
and this was someone comparing Euphoria is the first one, and then
Fenty's
Fenty is
second,
the
yeah.
second one.
This is blackface paint. This is the darkest shade of the Euphoria foundation.
I understand the outrage about shade inclusivity in the beauty industry. However, what I do not understand is the lack of support that we show some of these new emerging Black-owned brands, such as.
So it took me a second to understand what's going on here.
Okay.
The first one looks like charcoal.
Gray paints, yes.
But the second one, it kind of has like skin tone
Yes, there's a
blending
balance to
underneath.
it, yes. So basically what the Euphoria Foundation discourse was, a brand released a foundation that was pitch black. They released that in response to the fact that we said their shade range wasn't enough. That the shade range they put out, they stopped at like my color. When there are other people who are darker than me, right? So they said, here you go, take it. And instead of creating 4, 5, 6 more shades, they created one pitch black shades. Say, you black, here you go.
But nobody's pitch black.
Exactly. No one is pitch black. But there were some creators who are darker skinned, so like South Sudanese. I'm thinking right of her name. I can't say her name, I forget it. But she did a video where she tried the foundation and it worked for her. I use worked in this exclamation point. What is this? Quotation marks. And then Gloria used it and she's like, no, this is actual blackface paint. And I think the discourse then was why, like, it was a lot. People were like dragging Euphoria. But also I know people who went to be like, oh, well, if they don't have my shade, I know they probably have white shades. Let me go buy some. So they still made money, even with our outrage. And I think they even responded with like 2 or 3 more shades, but it still wasn't them actually responding or caring. They did not do the work. And they're not going to do it. I don't think they're interested in doing the work. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's like the redemption arc is the new marketing tool. Shalom Black says, I've always felt like that, especially with brands as old as day. How are you 20 years in the game and still releasing BS? Like the YSL blush is an example of that. YSL just released a blush line that was mostly not able to be marketed to as a universal shade. Basically, they released a shade line that was not universally marketable. It was very much for if you are from the medium to fair range versus medium to deep. And they market it as universal. So if you're deep to fair, you can use it, which is unacceptable. Now, this is my thing with marketing. And this might be an unpopular opinion, an odd nugget, if you will. An odd popular opinion. No.
Odd nugget.
Odd nugget it is. I think it's okay for brands to only cater to certain people. I do. I think it's definitely okay for certain brands to market certain things to certain people. I think YSL could have marketed that blush as a medium to light blush and kept it as that. And then they could create blushes from medium to deep tones. They could do it as that. I think about it like one size an example of that. When they create powders, you get the fair, you get the medium, deep, or whatever, and you get deep. It's okay to market to certain populations of people because that's okay. That's normal. It's the same way with curly hair textures and curly hair types and whatever. They're marketing directly to the people they want to serve. And I think that's okay. I think the issue with makeup in the beauty industry is the beauty industry has yet to realize that the Black buying like power is enough to sustain a directly targeted audience. So if you only create a foundation shade or foundation line like solely serving medium to deep tones, you're like, oh, we're losing money. And I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think it's a huge possibility that you can actually create a makeup line for medium to deep tones and not include markets to folks above that. I see that from like Nigerian creators, like Nigerian beauty. If you God, it's so interesting living in a country where you're not the majority. Like it's a very interesting concept for me because when I go back home and I see brands create shades, they're not creating medium to fair shades. They're simply creating medium to deep shades, or oftentimes maybe like lighter ones, but not as light to like create that other side. And when I see that, it's not abnormal to me, right? It's not abnormal to me. So I think it's very interesting when I look at it from the context of America, and I understand the need for it to be diversified, but I also always want to push back on that. Sometimes it's okay to just target your marketing campaign. It's okay to also just target certain people the way you want it to.
Especially if you don't want to.
Exactly.
Right? Because it's
the same way like we keep fighting to be in spaces we're not welcome in.
Right.
It's It's a never-ending, disappointing fight. To live in America as a Black person is a constant battle. And it is exhausting to simply even continuously see that battle and feel helpless with it, especially looking at it from the beauty space, even in the fashion space. Like, come on. Was it Gabrielle Union? Who was the Black actress who was at Cannes Film Festival and she was like being rushed off the market?
Kelly.
The red carpet. Kelly Rowland.
Yeah.
Rushed off the red carpet. We still see folks like Taraji P. Henson, like Viola Davis talk about this disparity of like dark-skinned Black actresses versus like white actresses. We see live in America as a Black woman is to be in constant battle. And so even seeing that with regards to beauty, like I worked for a global company, and when I first started doing my makeup there, I looked crazy. They had global makeup artists doing my face, and I looked like I was punched in the face 50 times a day. Like the makeup was just trash. It was so bad. And these are globally trained makeup artists who were supposed to know how to do dark skin. I'm not even the deeper end. There's at least 6 to 10 more shades between me and the end. And I still struggled with that. So when I see discourse like this, I get exhausted for folks like Gloria, folks like Jackie, who are constantly battling these narratives and who are trying to fix it. When for someone like me, and again, it's such an odd opinion, such an unpopular opinion, I don't understand why we're fighting that battle, because I don't think we can win. And this is not a defeatist mentality, right? This is me seeing it from a majority versus minority standpoint, right? Especially in an American context. I hope I don't get in trouble for this statement because I think there needs to be discourse and more money put into amplifying and investing in the Black dollar and in the Black economy so we create shades for ourselves. If we look at the Asian market and the Asian population, they create their own shades. Like they have targeted markets for their people, for their concept. It's targeted. It's there. I wonder what it would look like if we did the same. If a Fenty Beauty only ever marketed to Black women, right? Or to POCs, what would that look like? I don't know. I don't know what the success could look like, but I'm just curious to see what that kind of marketing would bring.
It's a good point. Invest in the Black dollar and don't chase the white dollar.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But that's hard. It's America. Okay, next topic.
I have a comment.
Oh God. The last comment says, I have a great undertone, so I kind of want to try this. And the commenter responds, please go and have a doctor check you because that can't be healthy.
Why can't she have a great
funny.
undertone?
That would just be, that's a troll. That's a definite troll. Huh? Go ahead. Only dead people have great undertones. My friend Sonia says only dead people have great undertones. All right, y'all. Our final odd topic for this episode. Kamala Harris goes on Call Her Daddy. The Glock 3000 or 9000 podcast.
I can't believe you just said those two things in the same sentence.
I'm telling you, I don't know about you, but I thought, okay. When I first heard Kamala Harris was going on Call Her Daddy, I thought that's the smartest thing she could do. Because first of all, Call Her Daddy is one of the biggest, most listened to podcasts in the world. Alex Cooper has done something with Call Her Daddy that no woman has been able to do in the podcast space. Let's give her that, right? Let's give her that. Now, there's a lot of nuances about the fact that she's a white woman and she can talk about sex and it could impact her career, Put that to the side. The point is, she has a huge podcast. Now, here's the thing. I saw a comment that said she has a really diverse listening group or whatever. And I wasn't. Go ahead, Donald. Donald has a comment.
So I want to add something. When I was checking this,
yes,
the first time she announced that Kamala Harris was going to be on the pod, did you see the comments?
Were crazy. But that's the thing, though. So every Call Her Daddy event that I've been privileged to walk past, because I couldn't go in because it was so white. Like I was oftentimes one of maybe 3 to 5 Black girls who went in. Like I'm going to throw this out there. The dream for my podcast when I first started was to get signed to the Unwell Network. And let me say this about Call Her Daddy. I really, really admire the fact that Alex Cooper has been able to build Call Her Daddy as the way she has been able to do it, because I don't think it's easy to navigate the space in the way she's done it, especially when you start with something like the Gluck Gluck 3000 or 9000 and then end with interviewing the potential president of the United States. I think that's a crazy trajectory that we're oftentimes missing here. But I also think the fact that she's a white woman has a lot to do with it. She's blonde, a lot to do with it. However, with this particular situation, Alex's audience is pretty much middle-aged white women and young women. Like, that's it. Like, she's like, that's why she signed a Alex Earl, right? It's very much like the white girl. Alex Cooper is like the white girl of the white girl for the white girls, right? So when I saw her comments where they're like, why would you do that to us? I was a bit shocked. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't too shocked, but I was a bit shocked because I thought the girls understood that the other side of the election, the other side, I don't fuck with the girls like that. Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to support the other side right now if we're talking about women's issues. But she also introed that podcast so well. Like, if you watch the episodes, she says, I don't think I'm qualified. I'm not going to speak on fracking or anything other than women's rights, which makes sense. She is a women's podcast. And I think that was such a beautiful thing to do to get started. Simply just call out your BS and say, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but what I do know is I can talk about women all day, and I'm going to talk about women. And the questions she asked the vice president and the way Kamala answered that, chef's kiss. Such a beautiful podcast. It started off a bit rough, but it ended up pretty well because it ended up just amplifying the fact that Kamala is the voice for women in this election, unfortunately. I do not think you can argue that a J.D. Vance and Donald Trump are the voice for women. There's no way. It makes no... How are you going to argue that?
I do want to clarify something. In the debate, former President Trump claimed that some states are executing babies after birth. Can you just clarify?
That is not happening anywhere in the United States. It is not happening, and it's a lie. It's a bold-faced lie that he is suggesting that, can you imagine? Can you imagine? He is suggesting that women in their 9th month of pregnancy are electing to have an abortion. Are you kidding? That is so outrageously inaccurate, and it's so insulting to suggest that that would be happening and that women would be doing that.
She made a comment in the episode where she said, I've never met a woman who is aspiring to be humble. Aspiring to be humble? Oh, inject that into my veins. I have never met a woman who is aspiring to be humble. Chef's kiss. You look confused. What's going on?
No, you're right. You're right.
Oh, okay. I
know at the start of this, I said, like, why should we care?
Why should we care? This one, I think we need to care.
Go out and vote. Because honestly, this is one part of the internet I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't get the Trump versus Kamala. Like, it makes no sense.
You can't say that, Donald. Because there are people who, okay, so here's the thing. I think the biggest thing, let's put the politics hat on a second real quick. American politics is interesting because we used to elect candidates, right, based on qualifications. And at some point, the American populace realized Barack Obama happened. And I think there was a literal reaction to the fact that they just had a black president that they had to elect someone who wasn't Barack Obama. Like, white people in America said we did too much, reel it back. And I think they reeled it too back to where Donald Trump became elected, right? And it also ended up being an interesting space to watch because Donald Trump is not a politician. He's a crazy person. This is not up for debate. Like, crazy in the sense that this is someone who literally says lies. Like, he looks at you in the eye and lies, or doesn't even say anything that matters. Not that like the fact that about 1,000+ people in his administration are supporting Kamala Harris to say a lot. mind you, I'm not even talking about my own political affiliations. I'm just saying this as a fact. Like, this man has been said to not have been qualified to do anything, right? And for women to watch this podcast and for women to comment and say, why would you support that? I think they're often guided by Democrats versus Republican rather than issues at hand, right? Because I think if you voted for issues, Kamala would win. Does that make sense?
I think you're trying to give a pass
Yeah,
in a world that, like, there's no understanding.
I think there is, though. And I don't think the understanding is that they are right or wrong. I think it's just racism. You know, they're just racist, and that's okay.
I still say, see, this is very tricky, right? Because this is a good example of, like, there are two types of people living on Earth.
Yes.
There are people who are sound in their mind, and there are people
You cannot say before not sound
No.
mind.
No, it's true. And you can come for me, and because, like, if you watch any video of Trump, there's no good one. There's no good take.
Yeah, there's no good
him
take.
or his vice president.
There isn't.
Or even the people that support him. There's no good
Honestly,
take.
also, but I'm African, though. I don't look to my leaders for guidance. I don't.
I think the biggest shock of the comments is that, like, that entire interview was about women's rights.
Yes.
And you have women in comments
who are saying you can't. For a man who literally has said some crazy things about women. I said, okay, let's say this to wrap it up. I think it was the smartest thing that Kamala Harris went on Call Her Daddy. I think Alex Cooper did an incredible job on Call Her Daddy. I think the questions were intentional and smart. And I also think that women need to wake the fuck up and realize there is no law in America governing men's bodies, but there's several laws governing women's bodies. I think we need to understand that women are still second-class citizens in the world, no matter what we want to believe. We are still second-class citizens in America. How you behave, where you go to school, how much money you're able to earn, you are still constantly being put behind a man at every step of the way. There is no equality, there is no equity to be a woman, especially in this country. You might think there is, but there is not. So voting someone like, honestly, we're not even getting into voting. I just want women to understand that and end it as that. Especially if you're a woman who's listening to this. And honestly, across the world as well. That is going to be the end of Odd Topics for today. Donald, swallow it. Just relax. Donald, it's okay. We're going to discuss this. Okay. Donald has one more thing to say.
This interview, right, with Alex Cooper. Because she said in the intro that she asked Donald Trump.
And he said he wasn't
And
coming
he said
on.
no.
Well, he said no. They said they didn't hear back.
Yes.
Okay.
When was the last interview that Trump did with a woman that went well?
Yes. All right, folks. That is the end of today's episode of Am I Too Loud with Sophie, aka The Oddity. I think I was a bit too loud in this one, but you let me know because I think I was. But also, you're never too loud. So what am I talking about anyways? I love you so much. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget, a new episode every Wednesdays at 4:30 Eastern Central Time. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. You can find us everywhere at the Am I Too Loud pod. Go online at amitoloud.com and everywhere else. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching / listening if you're on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. If you're on Spotify, hi, Spotify. If you're on Apple, hi, Apple. If you're on everywhere else, hi. I love y'all so much. This has been such a crazy experience. All the love we're getting is just insane. I can't wait to bring some more episodes to you. I will see you in my next one. Mwah. Bye, guys.